welcome to Fantastic Feast. I'm your host, Phan. Today we are going to make a vegetarian Banh or udon noodle style soup, and it's a comfort food, and it's something that my mom actually created, and it's something that I always request when I go home. So I thought I'd share this recipe with you when the weather starts to cool down and you're looking for something that's hearty, relatively healthy, and a vegetarian option for our audience members who don't eat meat. So I'm going to show you how to make that, and also one of my favorite banana breads. It's super simple, and I think everyone always has super ripe bananas that they don't know what to do with, and this recipe is my go-to banana bread recipe that I love, so I'll share that with you as well. But this Banh, it's really simple, and the broth is actually half done for you because the one that my mom uses is the one that already half made in the store, and then we add stuff to it just to punch up the flavors. We'll start chopping some of the vegetables and then get the pot and boil with the water to make the broth, and then you'll see how simple it is and how good it is. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is put the broth, and I'm going to add some water to this pot to boil, and once we wait for it to boil, we'll chop the vegetables to add in there so that they get some of the natural sweetness from the carrots, the daikon, and also the apples. So we're not adding any extra sugar besides from the natural fruits and vegetables. So we want to turn the heat up, medium, high. So then I take one of these cans and then I fill it up with water, and then I add it to this broth. While we wait for the broth to boil, what we'll do now is chop the vegetables, which include the carrots, the daikon, and the apples. So the apple, you can choose any type of apple besides Granny Smith, because Granny Smith are obviously a little bit more sour, so you're looking for a sweeter apple. And I just take the core out. And it's a very fresh and clean broth, and I know maybe some people think it might be cheating that we use the broth that's already made, but it's so delicious you don't even notice that it's not completely homemade, but it saves you a lot of time, and this is a dish that can be ready really quickly if you prep ahead of time and whatnot. So then there are the carrots. So you want to chop off the ends and then peel it. In this broth, the apples, you end up discarding it after it has released its juices. The carrots we end up using as part of the vegetable component of the dish to eat as well. So it not only imparts the flavor, it also is the veggie that we eat with it to give it some crunch and texture. I have 4 carrots here, but if you like more or less, you can add more. You like vegetables. Here's our daikon. And the carrots you cut at a diagonal, so not too thick, but not too thin either. So this is a good sized piece that we're looking for. The daikon, you just cut them cubes like that and quarter it. I usually don't keep the daikon to eat, but some people like it, so you can if you want to make that as part of your dish to have some fiber in there, but this adds a lot of nice sweetness. So, and then I have here an onion, and this is the old trick that you do when you're making pho, which is you char the onion, and then you add it in there, and it sweetens it and adds a nice flavor. Just cut it in half. Okay, so now I have our vegetables for our broth ready, and we'll bring it over to our pot of water and broth, and we'll add it to it, and then after that we'll start chopping some of the cilantro and the condiments for the end, and also cutting the vegetarian ham for us to fry to add on top. So let's go over to our stove. And pretty much every soup broth base that I make, I always do this because it just adds a nice flavor. And basically you just put it right on the flame. And this is what you're looking for. So this is pretty nice and charred. Turn the heat off. Then you just add that directly into the soup. And while we're letting this kind of marinate and turn into really flavorful broth, we'll start cutting the vegetarian ham and then frying it. And then that's pretty much it. And then we'll put it all together. Now we're letting the broth marinate a little bit and sit and get happy. And in the meantime, we'll cut the vegetarian ham. I have a quarter here. And the way that I do this is I cut it in half. And then I cut it into slices about this thick so that when I fry it, it won't be too thin and burn too easily. And then what I have to cut now is also the shallots. First you have to peel them, and you want to cut them into little quarter sections. The little wedges. So now we're going to take this over to the stove again, and then we're going to fry the vegetarian ham, and then also fry this so that we can pop it in at the end. So let's go over there. So I have a pan here, and then I'll add some oil. And I also have a little pan over here that I'll add some oil as well. This is for the shallots. So that heats up. And then I'll add the shallots to this side over here. And you don't have to fry it too long, just so it gets a nice little char on each side. So it's good. Okay, so once you've sliced up your vegetarian ham, we will finish it up with the mushrooms and then build our bowl of soup. Yum. All right. And then our broth is done. Ooh. Let's give it a try. Okay, so now all of the components of our soup is done. To prepare the udon noodles, you would just microwave it, half a bag for usually one serving, and you add a little bit of water, and then you cover it with saran wrap, and you microwave it for 1 minute or 2 minutes until it's soft and translucent, kind of like this. And then we are ready to scoop. Like I said, the apples are just used purely just to sweeten, but I actually like the carrots in there to actually eat. That's a nice pop of color. Okay. And then you ladle some of your mixture. If you like, you can do a sprinkle of pepper on top to finish it off. Well, that wasn't too bad. All it took was just a little bit of cutting some vegetables and some frying of some vegetarian ham, and we have this really delicious and bright and fresh udon vegetarian noodle soup, so I'll give it a try. Yum. Tastes like home. It's so good. I could eat this every day. I'm telling you, every time I go home, I ask my mom to make this, and it's kind of nice that I can make it myself. I should not talk and eat at the same time. It's such a perfect hearty meal for, you know, when it's nice and cold outside and you're feeling a little bit tired, but I hope you get a chance to try this yourself. Come back after the break and I'll show you how to make banana bread, one of the best, I guarantee you.